everything is going so stinking fast. Everything in the political, everything in the financial, everything is going fast. Would you agree, Brother Wyatt?
I would, yes. But there are gurus telling everybody that the RV has actually happened. It has not yet. There's things to be done. So they're lying to you if they're telling you that the RV has happened. It won't be happening for a little while yet. That's pretty much it. And hello, everybody, and happy Good Red Friday.
Yeah, happy Easter, guys.
Happy Easter.
Anyway, so what we're doing now, cleanse. Okay, Cheryl wants to know this weekend, and I'm going to tell you the same thing I've told you before. Nobody goes at the same time.
Nobody knows.
No rates, no dates, and everybody's going to get a different rate, and everybody's going to go at a different time. So if you want the shotgun start, it ain't going to happen. Just get over it. It ain't going to happen. Okay? Just that information that I gave you this earlier in the show at the very beginning. Okay? If you don't know what the North American Union is, then go back and listen to my old broadcast because we talked about it. But I'll give you a recap. North American Union is the United States, Mexico, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Canada, and New Zealand. And we're even hearing that that England could be part of the North American Union.
But only as a protectorate.
Right.
But only as a protectorate. It won't be a territory, but it'll come under the protection of the North American Union.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any chance? I'm going to chime in real quick. Okay, people, please do not worry about the EAS. Your best bet is just to see it done. There's like a great missed opportunity, as I like to imply, is your creativity actually accelerates things far faster than what takes place on the fiscal side. So if there's something you wish to see finished, you have to see it done. Done. It's all done. It's all over with. Because you guys are focused on the perception of time, even though, yes, we need time to see things in action, but time is also just another illusion. And there's proof in that idea, as I gave an example previously. If you watch people walk, you see everyone walking different speeds. Those are different perception of time dials. We have different time dials. You're in charge of your very own matrix time dial. If you take advantage of your imagination, you just see it all done. Again, do you want to see the can kicked, or do you just want to jump over the can and see it done? There are rules, and this is probably something I have not explained before, but I'll say it because I think it's important. There's rules to every holographic matrix. The rule is the more empowered you are, the higher in frequency you are, the more control you have over the physical side of the matrix. And you're like, well, if that was true, I would be seeing, changes. And yes, you could see physical changes, but it's not just physicality that you're trying to see. You're trying to feel the changes. The feeling has a greater benefit than seeing, because the feeling is the inner knowing. Haven't you all noticed that time seems so much faster each day? Even though, yes, some days seem slow, but in reality, the days are just moving by like quick. And that's how you know that people, collectively speaking, are saying, get it done, get it over with. I don't want it anymore. I don't need to see it anymore. Just show the finale.
Right.
That's the key to victory. You're not waiting for it, you're living as if it's already happened. So to be let me give you an idea. So the guides are saying, do that before you go to bed. Take some time. Imagine you're in front of a TV screen and you're inside that TV seeing video clips and you're fast forwarding. So you're fast forwarding and you're seeing you watching Gitmo channel. You're seeing you going to the RV. And again, these are like small video screen clip captions of you and your experiences, the now experiences. So the now experiences are taking place and you just see yourself going through the process, but it's super fast. It's super fast, but it's so vivid. It's so clear. And you're like, yep, I love it. It's done. If you do that, even just for 5 minutes a night, and you nod your head, and you go, yep, it's done. And then you feel goosebumps all over your body, and you'll feel them because they light up your whole entire body. It's unavoidable. And then it's called the knowing. When you have the knowing factor, that energy is like a ripple, and everyone is always rippling energies. It's done. No, and you keep the words short and simple. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. And the thing about that, Brian, is people cannot do that unless they forget about when am I going to get the money, right?
Yes.
Or when's that going to happen, right? Because what you're doing when you're thinking about when am I going to get the money, when's it all going to happen, when's this going to happen, when's that going to happen, it's keeping you in a lower energy. And if you're in a lower energy, you cannot do what Brian just described.
And the win will never come.
Yeah,
You'll
that's right.
stay and win.
Yeah, so live in the now, guys. That's what we got to do. Yeah. God woke you up for a reason today. Okay? It's as simple as that. And he'll wake you up tomorrow if you're on the list. But there's always a reason for it. Anyway.
They're not qualified consciously to grow anymore. Like the med beds, they're not going to be able to help them. And another thing that I wanted to also allude to about the med beds, it's not an all fixer. Okay. Yes, it's an all fixer physically, energetically, not so much. So if you have really bad habits, you gotta work on those bad habits. So if you eat a lot of junk and you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this nice slim muscular body, you may want to rethink that. It may not do exactly just that. It's gonna fix problems, but it's not gonna not all of them have that rejuvenating factor. And again, there's different stages, and you still have to manage your multiple layers of like emotional bodies. You have different layers, you have different bandwidths of consciousness. So you kind of have to learn to be your own psychiatrist, whatever that means. But you're not going to be able to go and just do the same old habits, surprisingly. And a lot of the products, they're just not going to be here anymore. You're going to have to relearn and do things different. So just be prepared.
Use your own discernment. And the other thing that I put on the Telegram page this week that I thought was very important is, okay, your vibrations have got to be high. Your frequencies have got to be high. All you got to do is reach for him. All you got to do is reach. Constantly reach. Because I'm going to tell you, that's the only way your frequency is going to get raised. That's the only way your vibrations are going to be positive and not negative. Okay?
Can I add something to that? Sorry, Chance.
You sure can. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. High is good, but you have to set terms and conditions before you have your high moment. So you put a light bubble around you. You say, I'm not going to have any negative interference within my fields of energy. And I would encourage you to make energy bear traps, set them outside of your field. And you're thinking, oh, well, what good would they do? What do you mean? It's a bear trap. It works on the astral realm. You may hear like a yelp or a scream, and you'd be like, oh, I think I caught something. It works. They're there. It just gives you an extra set of protection. But the best way to have a high moment is to always let it go. And then you zero out because you want it to ripple. You don't want to hold it. And
Like throwing a stone across the pond.
yes, you need to ripple it because you want to become invisible at some point. So then you can have another high moment when you're having, yes, I encourage, find things that make you feel happy. If there's something you like watching or reminiscing, whatever, things that make you feel childlike in nature. Like if you're some old school people that like cartoons like Popeye, watch some old school Popeye or watch Three Stooges. Those are great for like, especially Three Stooges, for having just a high vibrational moment. But you have to set the terms and conditions first. And then when you feel you've had your moment, you just breathe, reset, and to the 0 point and let it go. And you give thanks and just,
I'm going to stop in on this with this upcoming show. I'm going to stop in and give some testimonies, but please tune in because it's very important and we're here for you. Okay. Wyatt, how about final thought from you?
Okay, well, as I said when I first came on today, the gurus are lying to you when they tell you that the RV has happened. It has not happened yet. Okay, so that's the first thing. So don't listen to them. They're full of bullshit. All right, just try not do what Brian was talking about earlier, insofar as envisioning what what it's done. But to do that, you got to get yourself up, and the only way you can do that is to get out of this negative energy, and just to be able to get those goosebumps and all that sort of thing. You need to just not worry about money. I know it's hard. I mean, people are struggling, but being focused on when's it going to happen and all that is just not serving you. All right, it doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve anything. It's just a little. It's like a parasite in your mind, and so that's that there. But we are very close, very very close. And as Chance has said, the timeline for this to occur has been sped up dramatically. I mean, it's especially when it comes to the issues of the Republic, and people need to get involved in the Republic in the United States. Okay, so that's getting in touch with Anne. And my final thought is, remember the sacrifice one man made for all humanity.
Amen.
Okay? He made a huge sacrifice. Right? He took all of our sins. And I think we need to, pay attention to that, as well as just remembering everybody who is deployed overseas at this time at the moment, because they're away from their families protecting your freedom. All right? So that's it, Chance.
Thanks so much, Wyatt. We appreciate it. Doc.
I do have an update regarding what's going on in the 3D world. So this update is quite interesting. A lot of new information has surfaced in the last few days. It seems like every day new stuff is coming forward. But recently, guys, President Trump has demanded that the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, be fired. Okay, so this is what this is. This is the beginning of the collapsing of the Federal Reserve, which means the RV, right, the rainbow currency, right, the U.S. Treasury is about to replace it. Anyways, his termination was marking the beginning of the collapsing of the Federal Reserve. So in addition to that, President Trump is actually also set to cut foreign aid by 75%, including $27 billion from the State Department, reducing funding to NATO, UN, and more than 20 international organizations. So that's the end of NAFTA. The United Kingdom's, or funding other countries, the United Kingdom Supreme Court unanimously determined that transgender women do not meet the legal, you could say, definition of a real woman, all right? A term legally served for individuals born biological female, which is a good thing. And like I mentioned before, transgenderism is a stepping stone into transhumanism, okay? So this is something that occurs in many civilizations that are falling into the trap of transhumanism. In addition to all of that, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom may be headed for a major scandal as rumors intensify about explosive CCTV footage allegedly showing Keir Starmer, I think that's his name, Starmer, and Lord Ali in compromising positions inside a private office, okay? The footage reportedly captures, you could say, something physical between the two men. And of course, Starmer's wife was shown the video, prompting her to storm out and conduct divorce lawyers immediately. All right, so that's good.
Jacktron on X. Jim Davidson is saying that Keir Starmer is gay for Lord Ali.
I watched Channel 4 News last night, and I got to 40 minutes in, and I thought, are they going to mention the fact that Keir Starmer is under the cosh here? That, you know, Lord Ali and the revelations coming out of the penthouse, the £18 million penthouse are getting worse. That, you know, the Labour Party's, you know, sort of folding in on it.
He's just a rich guy, and I actually make no criticism of him. It seems he's played his hand quite well, spraying money and favours around the very top of this government, and people hate that stuff. And they also recall that the last bunch that were the recipients of this kind of largesse were the Tories, and they were the ones partying in Downing Street and so on.
The political elite believe they're untouchable, that the rules don't apply to them. But this week, the mask slipped, and Sir Keir Starmer was caught in the crosshairs. It began with comedian Jim Davidson's explosive claims during a private club set in Westminster. According to Davidson, CCTV footage from Lord Ali's private office shows Starmer in a compromising position, one that reportedly drove his wife, Victoria Starmer, to contact divorce lawyers and leave their home in tears. Many private sources confirm she was shown the footage at a charity event and hasn't appeared in public since. Downing Street dismissed the allegations as baseless, but behind the scenes, it's panic. Starmer's team has begun issuing cease and desist letters, threatening legal action and pushing tech platforms to suppress any mention of the story. He's using the full weight of his office to muzzle discussion and intimidate those who speak out.
You went from being, you know, one of the most beloved TV comedians. How did it feel as the sort of cancel culture rose and the news stopped? How were you perceived differently by the media, I suppose?
Well, it didn't bother me that much because I thought it was their problem. I thought it was them that were, they're wrong, they're mad. Okay, you know, I didn't.
Davidson, however, isn't backing down. He claims he saw the footage and called it physically sickening. Starmer, once the loudest voice on political integrity, now finds himself accused of the very corruption he campaigned against, compromised by influence, protected by power. Labour insiders are now openly questioning how to remove Keir Starmer from power, viewing him as the single greatest threat not just to the nation, but to the future of every Labour MP seat in Parliament. And just when many expected Jim Davidson to be silenced, he delivered one final blow, slamming Starmer as a Prime Minister with a sugar daddy who's also harbouring fake asylum seekers.
And that is, for me, possibly the worst and most damaging aspect of this story. That this is a guy who is leading our country, who is the representative of the United Kingdom at the United Nations. You know, he's not the head of state, but he's, you know, the leader of the nation. He has lived a complete lie. I mean, I've said earlier today in the show, I don't know what he gets up to with Lord Ali. I don't know what he does for hours and hours on end at this flat that they seem to be happy to share.
The public's anger toward Keir Starmer and his party has only intensified with the ongoing revelations regarding his relationship with Lord Ali and the questionable events surrounding his penthouse. Despite the controversy, major news outlets like Channel 4 and BBC have been remarkably silent about these issues, raising eyebrows about their impartiality. It's clear that a growing
Of course, they would be very silent. I mean, who cares if he's gay? If he's gay, just come out and say it instead of this hiding BS.
The members, these people are members of the cabal and they're falling. They're being exposed, even in Europe. So, Labor HQ is reportedly in chaos trying to figure out a way to bury the story. That's another thing. And then going back to President Trump, he has also officially rejected Israel's plan to strike Iran's nuclear sites, which was, I believe this was going to happen, right? He's going to bring in peace eventually, choosing diplomacy and negotiation instead. Okay. So in addition to that, and this is where I believe we are no longer on a World War III trajectory, the Ukraine suddenly accepts Russia's Easter ceasefire after backlash, as Zelensky says he's ready to mirror Russia. And then, of course, Russian President Vladimir Putin also announced that nuclear-powered systems originally developed during the Soviet era are now actually operational in space. Well, that is very true because, Mr. Putin has known about the secret space programs for quite some time. Well, at least the Putin 2.0. The Putin 1.0 was actually cabal, for those that didn't know. So, just minutes after Putin announced an Easter ceasefire, of course, the Ukrainian President Zelensky accused him of trying to play with human lives during the holiday. So it seems like there's been a pull, but it seems like it's actually going to play out in a straight-out ceasefire, which is going to end the conflict between those two countries, which is a good thing. And again, once the Israelis stop attacking the Palestinians, Iran, and Hamas, then at that point, it is predicted, this is what I've been saying for months, almost a year now, that Mr. T is probably going to get a Nobel Peace Prize for achieving his, of course, what he promised us, which is the ending of all wars. So, and as you guys know, Israel is the enemy. Israel is the enemy. So Israel is reportedly considering a targeting strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, but the U.S. were able to stop them. That's a good thing, okay? Yes. So in addition to all of this, going back to fired cabal players like James Comer. So apparently James Comer says that he is halting democratic use of taxpayer funds to travel to El Salvador. Okay. Mr. T is reportedly considering appointing Ezra Cohen as deputy director of the NSA. So that came in yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago. Ezra Cohen is going to be the director of the NSA. So what's happening here is that the alliance are literally placing white hat representatives and firing cabal leaders in these agencies, which is a good thing. So basically, it's not like they're dismantling the agencies. All they're doing is just taking over the agencies. That's all they're doing is they're firing, the directors, and they're replacing them with, alliance players, you could say. Donald Trump has directed the U.S. military to pull hundreds of troops out of Syria, which is a good thing. And again, a lot of this is leading to achieving peace, I would say, by probably summer. I think if he could pull it off, maybe we could have world peace by summer, guys. Let's just cross our fingers.
So what happens when Doge confirms that Fort Knox is empty? And what happens when the world realizes that the U.S. has no gold backing its financial system? And then what happens when the Epstein list gets released and cash goes after them? De-dollaration accelerates, goodbye dollar, debts get canceled, see a debt, and major corporations fold overnight. The great financial reset is happening now in real time, and you are witnessing it unfold. But the new financial system is already built, and we are watching the transition play out in plain sight. Digital gold-backed assets, tokenized real assets, XRP and XLM are already locked and loaded. So stay tapped in, stay grounded, and know that as you prepare, you'll be fine.
Swisher 1776 on X. Posted 9:43 p.m. April 19, 2025. Multiple times for nuclear meeting being posted. They will meet sometime today and delegates have started to arrive. 5:38 Iran English breaking alert. The second round of negotiations in Rome will start at 11:30 a.m. Italian time. 12:30 a.m. Italian time. Breaking news. US-Iran meeting 3:30 Eastern. US-Iran nuclear talks in Rome to start at 8:30 GMT. Iranian State TV 19th April 2025 14:43 update 19th April 2025 14:49. Erica, things are getting interesting. Thank you for keeping us all updated. Really appreciate your input. Forwarded from Wolverine. Wolverine has forwarded this and it's come from Mr. Paul, but I don't even know if it's Mr. Paul because Mark Z did a live recently. Was it last month? And I remember him saying, I'm sure years ago I had heard of his funeral. I heard Mr. Paul doesn't have a Telegram account, and I don't even know who's the one running this X account, Mr. Paul. And as Wolverine says, I'm praying that it's true, but please use discernment because these people copying information from other people and then they collate it as one to claim it as their own. But then Wyatt, who also, which I just posted a video, their live that they did recently, he gets intel from the military. And if he's saying that the gurus are telling lies, that the RV has not happened yet, but he did say it's pretty close. And also, really interesting point. There's, I think there's 2 accounts on Telegram from a Julian Assange, and really amazing info. I mean, I just thought, well, wow, where did he get his info from? But then Julian Assange's wife sent a comment, posted it to one of the, I think it was on the Chosen One's Telegram, and made it quite clear that her husband does not have any social media accounts. And so she's basically saying any accounts from a so-called Julian Assange is a fake. So again, just use discernment because it could be true, could be not true. I don't know. You just take it as a grain of salt. I mean, we want it to happen, but don't focus on okay, when is the money coming? As info from that I've just posted today and from Sky, because the collectors are saying a lot of humanitarians are focused on when's the money coming. I'm praying that it's true. Final execution in progress. The wait is over. Notifications will be delivered today and tomorrow, Tuesday. Confirmed. Level 4B activations have begun. The global financial system is in the midst of a transition. Major banking institutions in Zurich, the Rhineland, and Hong Kong have entered the final liquidity phase. Important sources confirm that notifications are already being sent. This is not speculation. It's happening now. Breaking news. Historic moves underway. Multiple sources report that the QFS is clearing high-value transactions, ensuring large-scale liquidity deployment across multiple levels. Private banking sources confirm that funds are being transferred to designated accounts. This is the final stage before the public launch. Urgent bank screens now displaying live trading rates. IQD $9.35 now activated on internal banking platforms. BND US 589 surpassing projected levels. ZIM processing. Elite groups now receiving. Private jet landing. High-level transactions confirmed. Military and government agents have arrived in Reno and Hong Kong. Elite bank employees are being escorted under security protocols. Something historic is happening. The next 6 to 12 hours are crucial. The deep state cabal has lost control. Their desperate moves are being halted in real time. The new gold-backed financial system has arrived. This is global economic liberation in action. The last switch is filling. Get ready. Keep an eye on your inbox. Once this process is complete, nothing can stop it. Mr. Paul. The other thing is about the ZIM. So always for the last couple of years, they've always says that the ZIM will be paid out under a structured payout. and I posted a video by audio by Mayhem with Mel, and she was saying that she went to a meeting, and basically they were saying that the Zim is not what they say it's worth, but not according to the intel that I've seen, because it definitely says on each note, pay bearer on demand. According to the IMF law, it's illegal to lop off the zero. But what I heard from a good friend on Telegram, it's part of one of the groups that I follow, likes to research a lot of information, but what he's saying is that don't quote me, I mean, it could be wrong, but it makes sense. There's nothing for people to panic about as long as you're high vibration, because remember, it's important to note that the Zim are for the humanitarian projects, and it will also fund the medbed centres. People need to be aware that what I've heard is that people will be having the appointments with the Alliance military. So they're going to vet you, and that's when they want to, they want you to do your actual 5-minute pitch of your humanitarian projects. And it's important to note is that they're going to be sitting in front of that they're going to be sitting in front of that quantum computer, which is already recorded whether you're going to get your funding or not, based on the behaviors of certain people. If you've been someone that has said hateful comments, especially on social media, that quantum computer reads everything. So we're not living in a future where people can continue doing that. No way. So when you have your appointment with the Alliance military, because Ron Giles, who is the leader of Loved One Society, I was listening to the live, and he's always stated that he gets regular confirmation from the Alliance, and they've basically said that people will have their appointments with them to confirm whether your project will be approved or not. I don't know whether it will be approved on the spot, but that's when you'd have to do a 5-minute pitch on your projects. If you've got a project, people don't necessarily need to have a humanitarian project. If you've got Zim, they always made it a thing, or you need to have a humanitarian project, but not necessarily. The Zim, they've always said in the past that the Zim will be paid out. This is what my friend was saying. That is the fact. Don't quote me. I mean, these things change all the time, but it'll be paid out as a structured payout. So the structured payout for the Zim, you can choose the terms. I think it's 10, 25, 50, and 100 years. Those are the terms. And you can choose to have the payments paid out quarterly, monthly, quarterly, or annually. And it actually works out that you'll be getting a lot more. So that's what my buddy told me. So we just have to wait, but this is the opportunity for people to work on their issues, because if you're writing negative comments, that means you haven't done the healing. That means you haven't worked on your issues. And I do this YouTube channel is so that I can, of course, share things about the RV, but also to get people to think, am I vibrating high? Am I working on myself? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? Number one, as I said, if you send hateful comments, that means somewhere in your life, somebody has done something to you, or whatever the situation. That means, as I said, you still need to do the healing. You don't necessarily need to pay someone to help you. You can do that all on your own. I did get help spiritually, psychologically, and all the other kind of help. Yeah, this is just a little warning. I'd hate to be you when you get that answer that you didn't expect to receive on the day, because we ain't moving into a new earth where we're going to put up with people that are just so full of hate. The main thing that you need to be aware of is what they want to know is your intention. Well, what is your intention within your heart, or what you want to do? If that is, you have an intention of you want to help humanity, but your other intention is to send hateful comments to especially the leaders who have actually worked hard to get to where they're at now, and you haven't bothered to listen to the other intel, given that Wolverine and Bruce had says that they were deliberately given disinformation so that the good guys can catch the bad guys, because it's always been a fight against the cabal. And these people, you don't know who they are, but anyway, that's the situation. You've got time to work on your issues. Happy Easter. God bless your home with happiness and unwavering faith this Easter. May all of your dreams and wishes come true.